The world is at the cusp of a new revolution, where advancing genomics, artificial intelligence, material and manufacturing technology is transforming and evolving every day. Machines are closing in on mankind's ability with astonishing speed, with robotics replacing humans, not just on the factory floor, but in homes as well. Deriving higher efficiency being the key driver for this digital transformation, technology is playing its role in making our lives simpler while making us more productive individuals.
The physical office space has come down close to 60% smaller than what it was, let's say, about a decade ago. And what it's actually bringing is the lesser office space is driving more density at the office environment. And that's creating more need to have a newer form factors, let's say smaller form factors for desktops and notebooks. Having said that, the way people work are changing, right? And it's not only about the client devices, but it's more about how overall the environment is changing. A small example being the recent survey which we did, it clearly shows that 60% plus business users, they actually work 2 to 3 hours more than the standard working schedules. We also must take into account the new entrants, the millennials, right? Now, we all know millennials are basically they are fearless for the technology. Be whichever technology which is basically available now, they know inside out about that particular technology. And 42% of the millennials say that they will quit the job if the right technology based devices were not made available for them at the workspace. Close to 82% of the millennials say that when they choose a job, they really look forward towards what is the technology which will be made available for the workspace. So what it's indirectly driving towards is many CEOs, close to 40% plus CEOs, they are saying having a right technology at the workspace is a must to attract the right talent or right millennials for the workspace.
We're joined by Clark Bari of Max Life Insurance to get a bird's eye view of the challenges and opportunities in embracing technology to drive up workforce productivity. Mr. Bari, thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Bari, could you take us through the changes in your IT strategy to reap the benefits as well as address the challenges which come along with an ever-evolving workforce?
Yeah, IT has had to rapidly evolve because the world is evolving very rapidly, especially with respect to digital and technology. With the new world, you just can't afford to do that. You've got to offer that flexibility to the people. The ways IT is dealing with that, first we have enabled bring your own device, BYOD, or even choose your own device. But we had to do that after having implemented a technology called VDI, which really virtualizes the desktop so that it can be accessed from any device and you'd get access to your data and to your applications. The second thing that we are doing is we are putting more and more power into the mobile. When I say power, it is not really the CPU or the RAM, but really the work that an employee does using a desktop or a laptop, can that work be executed on the mobile? And the last thing that we are doing is we are trying to put everything onto the cloud so that it can be accessed from anywhere, and the employees don't have to depend upon coming to work and having access to your applications only from the office premises. So if I were to sum this up, IT strategies had to change to enable employees to work anytime, anywhere, any device, but through a secured connection, and that's how IT strategy has evolved.
Mr. Bari, how do you see IoT transforming the insurance industry? Could you cite some innovative practices that you've seen which makes you more optimistic about the role of IoT in insurance?
The phrase that I use to describe IoT to the management and to the people that I speak with is IoT is going to enable organizations to boldly go where they have not gone before. The IoT hasn't found a use case yet, a big use case yet in life insurance, because it is yet to be established that healthy lifestyles are going to lead to lower mortalities. But in terms of health, property, casualty, auto, general insurance, IoT is finding a lot of use cases. The first one, I call it, is dynamic pricing. So your premium can go up and down basis your behavior. So if your car is insured and your car is equipped with an IoT device, the company can know how fast, how slow, and what your driving behavior is, and depending on that, your premium can go up and down. So it's no longer pay this fixed premium over a period of time. You could be running on a certain premium today and a different premium tomorrow. The second is differential pricing. This is a startup in Singapore that connects all of the gymnasiums and other fitness organizations with the enterprises, so the Facebook and the Google, so on and so forth. And what these enterprises do is every enterprise covers their employees for health insurance. But what they say is, if you are an employee who walks 10,000 steps a day and goes to the gym or goes to the park for a jog or have a healthy lifestyle, then your insurance cover is so much higher with the same amount. Whereas if you are one who does not follow that lifestyle, then we're going to deduct some amount of money from your account, or we're going to give you a lower insurance cover. So there's a differential pricing rather than one fits all that is being enabled through IoT. The last one, that is pay per use. Now you could insure yourself. I mean, usually people insure themselves for a period of a year, but you could insure yourself for months, weeks, days, or for that matter even a minute. You can say, let me get a life insurance cover while I'm in the Ola cab or the Uber cab, and that IoT can enable, and without IoT you can't do that. So there's several innovative ways in which companies see through this dynamic pricing, differential pricing, and then they're able to price pay per use. It is not only helping the customers, but it is also helping the organizations to maintain or improve their margins, because then they know this is a high risk customer versus this is a low risk customer, and therefore I'm going to get higher premium here versus a higher price here versus a lower price here, and that works for both enterprises as well as customers.
Mr. Bari, workplaces are also becoming very flexible. If you look at, say, a BYOD policy which is offered to employees, where they have access to enterprise data across multiple devices, but there's the concurrent security challenge. You've got the issues around data breaches. So how do you address all these issues?
Yeah, let's just not talk about that. It's just a huge challenge for us to deal with this flexibility going on and enabling BYOD and CYOD and enable people to work on mobile and almost any device, and people are constantly changing the devices. Security is really a nightmare to deal with. When I speak with my team and with the management, you see there's a balance one needs to achieve between security and convenience. And we are achieving that through multiple interventions. The first one, as I said, is cloud. It's counterintuitive. Most people believe that cloud is insecure. I honestly believe my gold is more secure in a bank than at my home. So you're moving to the cloud and leaving security of accessing the cloud to the experts. The second one is VDI. I've already spoken about. It's central infrastructure. So my data is sitting within my data center. Any movement of data outside of this data center onto any device is tightly controlled and guarded and monitored, whereas if it was sitting in the individual laptops and desktops, then I had less control. People could put a USB stick, people could take a screenshot, or many things could happen. But through VDI, I have centralized that data. The third thing that we are doing is when we build applications and we put them on the mobile, it is always our endeavor not to store tons of data on the mobile itself, so that if the mobile gets lost or stolen, at least there is no data on the mobile. The last one is extremely important, and unless that happens, nothing that you do, the 3 or 4 things that I spoke about earlier, they're not going to matter. And it doesn't matter whether an organization does 10 things, and that is raising the awareness of the workforce and the employees that security is important. We have a campaign running which is called Security is a Habit and I Have It. And unless you work on raising the awareness of the employees and getting them to believe that data is as important as money and they are responsible for guarding it, nothing that you do is going to matter. So it's very important that the workforce believes that security is important, and it will make your job easier.
Mr. Bari, my last question to you. Now, Dell has been very proactive in terms of deciphering workforce trends and using those insights to make end-user computing solutions to make sure that you get the right technology for the right demand. So, considering all the challenges that you have mentioned, how do you see Dell effectively supporting you in the work that you do and making your workforce more productive?
Dell is a company that I have been working very closely with for a very, very, very long time, and it goes over decades. What I love about Dell is they are constantly evolving. They were the first ones to come with the direct marketing of PC, and Dell completely changed the market. And Dell is helping us in many ways. Our laptops and desktops continue to be Dell. When we think about tablets, phablets, we think about Dell. Our cloud infrastructure, our private cloud infrastructure, is a lot of Dell technologies being used. Our VDI technology, whether it is thin clients or within the central infrastructure, is again Dell. The monitoring software that we use to manage our infrastructure, part of that also comes from Dell. So Dell is really embedded into us, but that's not the only thing, that they're integral part of almost everything that they do. What I like about Dell is they're also changing, and therefore as my needs evolve, as my needs change, I know Dell is going to be there to help us.
On that note, we'll conclude this interview. Mr. Bari, thank you so much for giving us time for this interview and speaking with us.
Thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you.
With the advent of mobile technologies such as smartphones, tablets, wireless and cloud computing, employees are finding new ways to work. Current trends indicate that organizations adapting to meet the changing landscape of the workplace are also the ones attracting the new age millennial workforce. Teams that are not averse to adopting newer technologies and are the lead change makers in how work gets done. It is this change that can be attributed to driving up overall productivity of organizations and their workforce through the fourth industrial revolution.
We're joined by Nandkishore Dhomne, Chief Information Officer at Manipal Hospitals, and we are going to talk to him about tech strategies to drive up workforce productivity, especially when it comes to the healthcare sector. Mr. Dhomne, thank you so much for joining us. My first question to you: IT has played a big role in the healthcare sector when it comes to improving efficiency and quality of operations and delivery. And if we add patient safety to the mix, those three key drivers are a key reason for the IT investment in the healthcare sector. How do you see things unfolding from here on?
Certainly IT, it was actually the entry of the technology, the ICT into healthcare is quite late. But then all of a sudden the demand of technology deployment has gone up drastically. And the key driving factors are the increasing cost of the healthcare, that's number one. Two is the productivity. Three is the satisfaction of the customers, the patients. And fourth is how do we achieve the clinical excellence using technology. So I think these are primarily the driving factors or the forces behind the ICT deployment in healthcare.
Can you tell us about the challenges you faced when it came to enabling your workforce to becoming digitally savvy and using these digital solutions, especially with regards to mapping resources to the right technology tools?
The adoption part of it, I mean the technology coming to healthcare, and how will that be adopted by the stakeholders. Since in India typically there was no case study which we could replicate straight away, taking from some hospital and putting into Manipal hospital. So we did not have any such case study. So whatever we were supposed to do, it was like first time we are doing it to healthcare. So that brings a lot of its challenges, because everything we have to work from scratch and also understand that the solution works for us and the people adopt the solution. So what we do is, there is no standard solution for all the departments of healthcare. So every department, they have their own sort of challenges, requirements, and therefore every department sometimes need a different kind of solution. So there is an exercise called as the fitment exercise, what we do. So we don't just deploy technology because it is available to us in the market. We understand what's the business challenge, right? And what kind of technology can be used to meet this challenge. So it goes actually basis the fitment exercise.
All right. Now, Manipal Hospitals recently deployed a new network security platform that can be secure, that can be a secure BYOD environment. Can you shed some light on this deployment of new solutions from Fortinet?
Probably we are the first hospital who is offering 150 Mbps free internet in hospital premises to our patients. OPD patients or IPD patients, right? So when they come to the premises, they can actually go for this free Wi-Fi, free internet, and they can get the OTP, and they can connect to my network and access the internet. Now, how this was made possible? We deployed BYOD environment here. We also used the Fortinet UTM devices, appliances in our environment, and this is basically to enable BYOD in a very, very secured manner. Just to share a few numbers with you. Today, we have roughly around 800 concurrent users accessing the internet using the BYOD in Manipal hospitals.
Now, enabling mobility and ease of access to information, these are the two key pillars seen as driving up productivity and efficiency of employees. So what's the company policy on allowing enterprise data across multiple devices? Do you see that driving up productivity and efficiency?
We are currently using iPads. There are almost 800 plus iPads into the system today in Manipal. We are using a lot of mobile devices, and as an enterprise policy, these devices are actually permitted to access the information in a very secured manner by doctors, who is the first stakeholder, by nurses, the second stakeholder, and also by the patients. So as a policy, we have allowed this data access in a very secured manner using the FortiGate security appliances.
All right. And focusing more on workforce productivity, do you see automation? There's a lot of advances on that front as well when it comes to technology and how a lot of things are getting automated. Do you see ramifications for that in the healthcare sector?
Absolutely. In fact, that is one of the objectives. Today, when we deploy any IT solution into healthcare industry, so it has to have some sort of benefits associated. Those benefits might be for patients or for nurses or for doctors, or for the administration team. So if any ICT deployment is not able to give benefits to these stakeholders, we don't really take it up for implementation. So let me give one recent example on this. We did the RFID implementation in one of our hospitals, and we were able to improve the productivity of the overall movement of requests of the patients, which actually come from the nurses, by almost 35 to 45%. And that's a major improvement of the productivity. Secondly, we were able to, on the real-time basis, track the workforce and also communicate with them on the real-time basis using the RFID interactive tags. So definitely this helps in improving the productivity, and it also helps in improving customer satisfaction. And that is what we actually expect from any ICT deployment.
What solutions have you used? How has Dell helped you in your technology transform journey?
Behind this entire ICT deployment, the main engine is actually Dell. This is a backbone, because all of these things, they work on the Dell platform. So we have roughly around 60 to 70 plus Dell servers across the enterprise, around 15 to 20 your component boxes of Dell. And that also comes with a lot of expertise and expert opinions from Dell when we deploy these technologies. So Dell is definitely a very important partner in our digitization, and they will continue to be our important partner going forward also.
All right. Now, Dell has also done a lot of research when it comes to tech strategies for workforce transformation. You mentioned some of the challenges in your transformation. How do you see Dell helping you in mitigating these challenges even further?
Dell as a partner to Manipal, from time to time, we definitely get their expertise, their involvement into ICT deployment, whether it is from the server infrastructure side or from the consulting side, or supplying the laptop desktops is concerned. So in every possible way, I can see that Dell is helping us, right? And they are contributing majorly to this digitization journey of Manipal.
All right. On that note, we'll conclude this interview. Mr. Dhomne, thank you so much for giving us time for this interview. Pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.